Imagine this is 17th century and you have been appointed as a Maratha commander-in-chief. On the first day of your appointment, you have been having dinner with your troops and a messenger walks in with parchment. When you receive the parchment, you unravel it and you find that there is a letter having two words: Help Chhatrasal. Jetpur king who wants help from you, and you are busy in a war in Malwa. Now, how will you take decision is most important thing, because you can't leave your war and move toward Chhatrasal's help in Jetpur. Seeing the urgency, you start thinking, how can I take decision on such an important matter? How it is possible on the first day of my appointment I am given an order to help some other king? It is not possible, because you are in the war with some other kingdom, and all of a sudden how can you help someone else? This dilemma is very crucial, and we will talk about decision making in this video. And this video is sponsored by my company eskillmasters.com. And now you have to move towards the next war where you had already settled your camp. This is Malwa, and in Malwa you are fighting a war to gain your control over Malwa, because they are not providing you the chore. So you want to fight them and have control over Malwa, so you can have the revenue from that area. In the midst of this war, you get a messenger, and the messenger gives you a parchment, and when you unravel the parchment, you find that there is a help from the other king who is 200, 300 kilometers away from you right now. But you are busy in war. You can't leave your war and go for them, because if you went there, you will lose this war and you will be known as a loser in the history of Maratha kingdom. So you have dilemma. Now this dilemma can be understood by our theory. So we are here for making decisions and make a decision making process very easy. That's why I brought this story in your mind, because you can visualize yourself in this picture, in this video, as a warrior who has to take decisions. And now, being a warrior, you are in a dilemma. Now this dilemma can be helped by the theory called game theory. In game theory means you have to take decision. Whatever decision you have to take, you have to stick with it, because there is no back way. And these decisions are consequently, and there is no other going back. That's why it is irreversible. So while you think about it, there is a quadrille created in your mind: consequential and inconsequential, reversible and irreversible. This quadrille will help you understand which decision is most important and how it should be taken. Now, the game theory comes into the picture, where you have to take decisions which are consequential and irreversible. Whatever decision you take, it has to be stuck. You can't go a theory known as criminal dilemma. When a police interrogate with some criminals, they offer, suppose I'll tell you one story. You, John, and your friend Smith together try to rob a bank. When you rob the bank, you get caught. Now you both decide that you both will not snitch on each other, right? You both will not snitch on each other. But police does not know that you had decided this thing. When police interrogate, there are bad cops, good cops, every kind of cops are there. They use whatever technique they want to use on you, and they ask you some certain questions, and they tell you that your friend John is going to snitch on you. Better you help us, then you will not having so much on punishment on you. And the same way they speak to Smith too, that your friend John is going to snitch on you. So better you tell us. Now, whatever decision Smith and John takes, that will be a final decision for them. Means it will be a consequential decision. They will go into a jail, and so how many times, how many months, That is depending, and it will be irreversible. Once you had given the statement, there is no chance that you can come back, right? So consequential and irreversible, it is a decision. So you have to make it as long as possible for taking such kind of decision. You can't take it very hastily because it is irreversible and consequential. The first consequences and the second consequences, and many consequences are there. Means first, second, third, fourth order of consequences are leading to one consequence. So now, when you are taking such decision, then you have also many other things to do. While you are walking around, you find an old man who is in his vineyard picking up the grapes. You look at his eyes, you find that old man is very intelligent, very sharp and very wise. You walk into him and he looks at you and asks, how can I help you? He says that I'm in a dilemma whether I should go to help the other king or whether I should fight with my own war. So he asks, why do you want to help him? Because you say that if I don't help him, Muhammad Bangash, who had besieged his kingdom, will be making them starve and dead. So I need to go and help them. And that old man look at you deep into your eyes. If you go and help them, what about your war? You start thinking, yes, what about my war? Better you complete your war first and then move towards helping them. The advice of this wise man touches your heart. So you decide you will go ahead and help them, but on what stage, what time, how you'll go, how much time it will take, and when you stop this war at Malwa and then you'll go there to help them. This is also a very dilemmatic condition. That time, the second principle is that how long you should give to decide on a war or decide on a particular decision to be taken, because you can't give a lot of time to a particular problem. You have to conclude the problem because there is a deadline, or either as quickly as possible if it is inconsequential and reversible decisions. If it is inconsequential, you can just take it. Suppose during the war, your son walks in and he asks you whether you will have mango juice or a pineapple juice. It is very easy for you. You said, you just bring anything. I don't bother about this, because if I will have mango juice, then also it doesn't make any change in my body and there is no consequences, and it is reversible. If I don't want mango juice, I can again change the plan and ask for the orange juice. So that decision is very easy to make because it is reversible and inconsequential. When you can take decisions which are reversible and inconsequential, you can take it as quickly as possible. Suppose in the same way, consequential and irreversible decisions which are very difficult to take. Suppose if you had taken admission in a college course and now you had paid the fees, and finally when you complete the course you feel that it was of no use because you don't have that interest, neither you had learned anything better nor you had gained anything from it. So your time and energy is wasted and it is irreversible. Now you can't go back and take the course again for different kind of course because you have spent so much money. Now the university does not have any refund policy on it. So the consequential is that your money is gone and it is irreversible. So to decide on certain deep and irreversible concept, you have to take as long as possible time. And when it is reversible and inconsequential, as early as possible. Suppose you want to go for a movie, then this movie or that movie, it is same. It doesn't make any great change in your life. So it is reversible and inconsequential. So you can go and take any ticket as fast as possible. It does not make any deep change in your life. So from here we learn second lesson. Consequential and irreversible decision should be taken as long as possible and reversible and inconsequential decisions should be taken as fast as possible. Now, while you making such decision, you have decided that you will help the neighboring kingdom while you complete the war in your hand in that territory with Malwa. So, while you're thinking about this thing, there is one big question. And what is that question is, how should I take decision when I have shortage of resources? Suppose now you remember that when you were just that time you were a simple soldier and you were handling a cannon and the enemy troop was marching towards you, and that time the enemy were just nearby you and you have only one round of cannon. Now if you fire that cannon and if you miss the aim, you will be dead. So you were about to fire it, but your friends take up a bow and takes up a aim and shoot at the enemy. Due to the wind, the arrow moved a little bit on a right hand side. So your friend aims at the enemy and move the cannon little bit on a left hand side, and then he fires the cannon and the bolt shoot exactly on the opponent enemy, because the air took the bolt exactly where it should be shot. This is called try and test before you take inconsequential decision, irreversible decision. When you take a problem and slot it in small problems, then it is better you can take consequential, irreversible decision with testing mode. And this what many marketers does. They test their product in a small region before they launch the product. Means once they had launched, it is consequential and irreversible process. So first they test the product and then they launch the product. Now you again start thinking, what is the worst case scenario if I miss in Malwa? I will lose my army here and I will be not able to help Chhatrasal also, the neighboring king. That what is the worst case scenario? Are you ready? Means I am ready for taking the risk if I am losing Malwa and I can't be able to help Chhatrasal also. That is the worst case scenario, and your name will be vanished from Maratha history because you will be loser. So that time you have the second scenario, the worst case scenario, you will be loser. So how on earth you should understand whether you should help them or not. That time the idea comes into your mind. When it is important decision, you take decision as quickly as possible and matches your value. What is valuable for you? If your values are allowing you to help Chhatrasal, giving up, even if you lose Malwa and it is all okay, then you should go for it. Because the value which you have, you can't sleep with a hard pillow, because if you miss on your values, you will never be able to make decision properly. So whatever decision you take, you should match your values, moral values, ethical values, financial values. Those values are much more important than taking a right or wrong decision. If you are making a wrong decision or you are not those decisions are not able to match your values, forget it. Don't even think about second time about those decisions. So the matching your values are much more important. Now in this story we found that the warrior, the commandant, had taken a counsel for help and mentorship from that old man. You should always take decision and seek help before you take decision, if it is consequential and irreversible decisions. Great counsel, great coaches will help you to take proper decision because they had learned from their own experience. Now when you take a decision which have a backing of a strong experience and a historical evidence, that those decisions will always lead you towards a good and excellent result. So whenever you take decision, have a team of advisors, a team of counsels who will help you take proper decisions. So always take decisions with the help of counsels. Now, taking the decision on a next level, it should be always supported with your thought process, and decision should be not taken when you are fatigued. Decision should not be taken when you are fatigued. Now in sales, many car sellers who are going to sell you a car, they will take 1 hour, 2 hour making presentations about the sale of a car, because they know when you are fatigued, you will just take a decision because you want to over the decision making process. And this it is called decision fatigue. When you are tired, you should not take decision, whether it is a car deal or marriage or any kind of work which is important, consequential and irreversible decision. You should sleep over it. You should think, meditate on it, and take those decisions which are requiring a lot of power and it sucks your energy. Then sleep over it and then take a decision. Don't be in a haste to take a decision when you are fatigued, or decision fatigue it is called, the modern term it is known of your decisions. So when it comes to settle down before you take final decision. So while taking decisions, I remember one story of Ramayana where Ram was shooting arrows and chopping the heads of Ravan, but new head used to come up, new head used to grow up, and Ravana was continuously seeing that Ram is getting tired. When Vibhishan told Ram that shoot arrow at his belly and he will die. Similarly, the decision about attack Malwa and then help Chhatrasal, it is more important than you decide how to attack Muhammad Bangash, who is besieging the Jetpur fort. You decide to cut his supply. When you cut his supply from Mughal Empire, he automatically get weakened, and then you attack on him with the great speed and efforts. That will make you victorious after the war in Malwa, because your troops are tired, and before they make their minds to rest and the tiredness take over it, you make a move to help Chhatrasal, and with the great speed you move towards the enemy, and being beside Chhatrasal managed to escape and join you in a war, and you become victorious in this war. Bangash runs away from the side of war because he can't afford to handle the cavalry attack from Maratha army. Just because of your right decisions, you made a victorious decision in Malwa and in helping Chhatrasal. How did you manage to do that? Because you remembered one shloka of Bhagavad Gita 2.48, chapter 2.48. It means whenever you take decision, whenever you do some service, you should think that this service is meant for God's pleasure, Lord's pleasure, and in that way you become a person in decision making, a third party person. Means you can view the problem from a point of view of a friend. When you take decision from a point of view of a friend, there is not much emotional attachment to the result, to the outcome, and that will help you to take proper decision. So this shloka of Bhagavad Gita is having so much potential in decision making. If you learn and study this shloka, it will help you to understand decision making much more easily, and then you will be able to make consequential and irreversible decision without any problem, and you will win every battle in this life of your war, and you will be victorious and known as a king, a royal prince, or a warrior in your life. Thank you for making this video come till the end and joining me in this lecture. I hope this video is uploaded, and it is most difficult video for me to make because I had researched it over 2 years, and that's why I was getting nervous to make this video. because I had attempted to plan. And one last and final thing I should tell you is, whatever decision you make, stick to it. Whatever decision you make on these principles, stick to it. You will not fail. I, I with my own output of your decisions and help you out in growing. Stay blessed, stay happy. Thank you.